Thanks for joining. This is live with Miami's Community News. Our guest today is Frank Calderon with the Solid Waste Department from Miami-Dade County. Welcome and thank you for coming back.
Right. Thanks for having me.
So this is the holiday season. Christmas is around the corner. People are buying a lot of stuff. They're having boxes sent to their house. They're going to have Christmas trees pretty soon. People are dumping trash in the green can and the blue can and out on the streets. And there's going to be lots of bulky waste pickup, I suspect. All right. So let's talk about how people typically handle their garbage and their recycling at this particular time.
Sure. Well, obviously we do both garbage and recycling. The biggest thing, of course, that we tell people is just know which holidays. We only have 3 holidays, and we always get confusion on this issue. And in fact, we just had a holiday a week or so ago, Thanksgiving, and we often get confusion from residents on that day as far as whether there's pickup or not, and the Friday after even. There is pickup. We do pick up garbage. We pick and recycling on Thanksgiving. We only take 3 holidays every year, and they're the same 3 holidays every year. Martin Luther King Day, the 4th of July, Independence Day, and Christmas Day. The interesting thing to note, though, Martin Luther King Jr. holiday or birthday holiday always falls on a Monday. So if you get Monday service, unfortunately, you're not going to get garbage that day. We do recycling, though, that day. The other 2 holidays, July 4th and Christmas Day, as observed by the county, and that means it depends on when they fall. And if they fall on a weekday, then there's not going to be any service that day. If they fall on a weekend, it's trickier. So the rule, if you want to know the rule is if it falls on a Saturday, then there's not going to be pickup for the Friday before, which is happening this year. So if your garbage service is usually on a Friday, you will not be picked up on Christmas Eve because the day before the actual Christmas holiday.
And when would be picked up?
Your next turn, which is Tuesday. We don't do a makeup day for the garbage. When it falls on a Sunday, the holiday falls on a Sunday, Monday is the day that we don't pick up. But this year, Christmas Day falls on a Saturday, so it will not be picked up on Friday.
We have a special thing out in the horse country where I live. We like to tease our neighbors. We put the can out, and then wait till then we put ours back in.
Get them to put their stuff out. It's like
well, we all look down the street, and we sort of like. By the way,
a practical joke.
Yes, it is. It's just a joke, guys. But I got to tell you, the guy, and I don't know if it's the same person, but I said hello to him the other day. Very cordial. They do a very good job, and it's like 99% perfect every time. All right, my hat's off to them because they go to a lot of homes, hundreds a day. Right?
About 1,000, roughly 1,000 or more. Actually, it's more than 1,000.
That's amazing, right? And halfway through the day, they got to go dispose of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so, there's been so much conversation recently about, like the climate and the rain and the ocean and the sewage system. It's been like inundated all the time. And finally, I think that when the people were waving the red flag back, or the white flag along 10 years ago, people weren't paying attention. But people are paying attention now about what to do. And I'm still a little bit confused as far as how to get in the habit of putting your stuff into the blue dumps, the blue can, which is for recycling. Generally speaking, what's a good, and Jean Marie, she would be killing me right now from the county. Millie, you should know. But essentially, if somebody wanted to start off, they could put their aluminum cans in there.
Aluminum cans, soda cans, yes, that's fine.
Right.
Aluminum, in fact, aluminum is probably the best recyclable material that's out there. It's very easy to recycle. I'm a little bit of a geek, especially for some reason aluminum, because it's so easy to recycle. An aluminum can you drink out of today, and you put in your recycling bin tonight, and it gets picked up, let's say, then in the next couple of days, it could take as little as 6 weeks for that can to turn around and be made into a new can. And it uses to recycle aluminum, to make new aluminum out of recycled or out of old aluminum, uses up less, like about 95% less energy, 90 to 95%. I don't remember the exact number, less energy than it does to process it out of the raw ore, which is, I think it's called bauxite. And it's not spelled BOX, it's BAUXITE. But yeah.
It certainly is amazing because it seems like 10 years ago, those cans were really strong and you could you could like squeeze them, and it's a question whether you could squeeze it or tear it in half. And we all got used to the cans being thinner, to the plastic being thinner, and that was all for a lot of reasons, including for recycling and for whatever money they could save. But we got used to it as consumers. This can is not, going to be strong. It's built so because we want to turn it around pretty quickly to be able to do that. So people could start off with their with their cans. Can they put the bottles of single bottle waters if people are still doing that? They
Yes.
can put that in there. The plastic.
Any type of plastic or glass bottle can be put in recycling. And it can be the water bottle, it can be a soda bottle, which I'm sure there'll be a lot of during the holidays. It can be wine bottles, which I'm also sure there'll be quite a bit during the holidays. Beer bottles. It can be detergent bottles, laundry detergent or dishwashing detergent, shampoo bottles, any type. As long as it's a bottle, as long as the neck is narrower than the body, then you can put it in your recycling.
The county has a lot of trash and recycling centers, right? They call TRCs, if I
Yes.
remember right. And how many are there for the?
We have a total of 13.
And out in the south end, there's one on 118th near FIU.
Yes.
And what about up north for our friends up there?
Up north, we have Palm Springs North, which is northwestish in the Miami Lakes area. And we have in the northeast, we have in the mid north, for lack of a better word, I don't think that anybody uses that phrase. We have the one that's at the North Day landfill, which is county line and Northwest 47th Avenue, approximately. We also have a couple that are northeastish. We have Golden Glades, and then we have another one that off the top of my head, I can't remember what it's called. We call it informally call it 3A because that's it's part of a larger maintenance facility, and the maintenance facility itself is called 3A. But we have another TRC in the northeastern area as well.
So I noticed the ones I drive by almost just about everybody has a truck, and which I think is neat. I've had a truck for most of the time, and you can back up.
As long as it's not a commercial truck, that's
Yes.
the thing. If you're in a commercial vehicle of any kind, they're going to turn you away. But a regular, like a lot of people drive pickup trucks because they like them,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
And so you can put the trash there, and then they throw it over into some cans. But it's you back it up, you throw it down. What else can you bring besides yard trash?
If you're going to a TRC, besides yard trash, you can bring furniture. Some TRCs will allow you to take things that others won't, just because of the configuration and the space that they have. Some of them you can take what we call white goods, which is appliances, like refrigerator, dishwasher, that sort of thing. Some of them will accept used motor oil. Some of them will accept bringing in electronics like TV sets and old computers. Always check first. Don't assume that what you need to bring is going to be accepted at a particular TRC, because you don't know. Call 311 if you have any doubts, or visit our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste to find out.
If somebody has a refrigerator, should they take the door off?
Yes, that's probably the best thing. If they're bringing it directly to a TRC and it's inside their house and not outside, you probably don't have to. But if you're going to put it out, like for bulky pickup, for example, or for something else, take the door off. Take the door off, because
tell them why they should take the door.
Yeah, I remember when I was growing up in the 70s, hearing about kids getting trapped inside these refrigerators, and then the tragedy of finding them hours later without any air. So laws started being passed as a reaction to that, and so as a result, now you have to take the door off, or you have to lock it or somehow secure it.
So I have specific memories of a neighbor. They were looking for the little girl, and she called into the refrigerator. I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and I remember it to this day. It's like, I don't know, you got to take the door off, all right?
Yeah, you never want that to happen anytime, but now with the holidays, much less.
All right, so people are they go and they buy all these presents, and they got all this cardboard, all right? I don't know what we're supposed to do with all this cardboard, but it's a box over another box, all right? We get deliveries here. It's like,
Oh yeah.
and I'm sort of thankful when it only comes in the original box, but they want to preserve the box in case we need to ship it back. So out of your home, got all this cardboard boxes. Most people would probably maybe step on it and try to squish and put it into their green cans. How should they really handle that?
If the cardboard box is clean, then it should go in recycling. Cardboard is, one of the better items as well for recycling. It should fit inside the cart. It's a little bit easier, of course, to just squish on it, flatten it by stepping on it and squishing it, but it could get stuck doing it that way. It's a little bit more effort to break it down and, cut where the tape meets and stuff like that, so you can break down the box. But that ensures that it can go in the cart loosely. As long as it's not too big, it can go in the cart loosely, and it can come out. More importantly, it can come out loosely when the truck comes to pick it up.
Okay, so just to paint this picture, if you're jamming it in there, when the truck guy comes and he picks it up and he grabs an arm and then he bangs it up against wherever it
might
is,
not come out.
Where he's banging your
Even
cart.
if he's banging,
right?
It might not come out.
Right.
If it's jammed in there really well in the cart, it might not come out. So, just be careful of how you put the boxes in.
And so pizza boxes need to go into the green.
That goes in the garbage, yes.
Right, because it's greasy.
The grease.
And just like we eat it, right? But it's greasy, the machines won't handle it. So the dry ones that Christmas presents.
Yeah, those are fine for recycling. Yeah, with the pizza boxes, I always like to say if the pizza tasted really good, then that box is going to be greasy.
If you have wet cardboard boxes, where do they go?
No, wet cardboard should probably go in garbage.
Right. So one of the things I do if I can't, especially get a big delivery, and I'm not going to cut that up. I just leave it in the rain for a couple of days, then put it into the thing because it's easy to fold it.
On the plus side, when that happens, it's not going to be recycled, but it will go to our waste to energy facility, and it will be incinerated and converted into electrical energy. So
you hear that, folks? They're going to burn that sucker. All right, going to create steam. Going to run that plant plus 35,000 homes a year. All right. Anything left over from that? Do they sell the fuel to somebody else? I mean, the power to somebody else?
They do sell. Right now, we have a contract with the city of Homestead. They have their own utility, and so they buy the energy from us. In the past, we've had different people that we've, different companies that we've sold it to. But yeah, we do sell it.
And that's amazing. And when you look at how all that sort of works there, all right. So if somebody has, especially this time of the year, people fixing up their houses, all right. Paint, 2x4s, paintbrushes, old kerosene still around, right? Paint thinner,
I don't know.
Paint thinner,
Yes,
things like that. And you're looking, I got another 10 cans of this stuff that I've been storing over for the years. What's a guy supposed to do?
Well, with paint, we advise people if the paint's still in good shape, try to donate it to a community organization that can use it. Some of them can use it for different purposes. If you can't, or for whatever reason just doesn't work out for you to do that, you can bring it to our home chemical collection centers, which we have two. As far as paint, if it's a small amount, you can just leave, and it's just latex paint. You can leave the lid off of it if you want, let it dry. When it gets hard, it's no longer liquid. You can throw it in your garbage. Please don't throw liquid paint in your garbage. So please don't. That can cause all kinds of problems. And then as far as like the other substances like kerosene, paint thinner, those should be taken to a home chemical collection center. Or if you can find a home improvement store is willing to take it back, check with them first. Don't show up with a bunch of cans of paint thinner and say, "Hey,
your picture."
Yeah, they have. That's the other thing too. They'll have your picture if you try to bring in the middle of the night, and that's technically illegal dumping. If you just go there and just leave it there. The next time you go there for something, just ask. And the worst thing they'll do is tell if they'll accept it, then a place that's close to you where you can take it when you're done with it, or you don't need it anymore.
Andres, could you do me a favor? Could you look up on our website Miami-Dade County arrest trash? See what happens there. We ran a story recently about a contractor dumped out in Homestead right on the side of the road. It wasn't much trash, but it was probably over this area here, maybe 10 feet by 4. I don't know if it wasn't completely full. There was a hump in the middle. The cops went out, they saw it, and went to his house, and let's see if we can find that story. And I believe that if I remember right, they arrested him. Let's see if we can find that.
We did have one recently. I don't know if it's the same story that you might be talking about. But yeah, we the police has their own illegal dumping unit. So yes, it's a crime, and yes, there are police dedicated to finding people who do this. So would-be illegal dumpers beware. But we also work with them in general. We do invest. We typically will do a lot of the investigative work, and then if it's something that could warrant an arrest, then we'll work with the police and we'll provide them with the evidence, and they'll go out and question the people. And next thing you know, you see somebody walking away with handcuffs.
Why don't you put arrest up there? In the subject line, in the search bar. Just add arrest to it. Arrest, like, you know, like,
ARREST.
yeah, like, see, have anything there? No, not yet. I guess they don't like it, like us
No.
today. Okay, all right. So they went and they arrested the guy. All right, there must have been evidence in there or a hidden camera.
Yeah, sometimes it can be both.
Right, and thank you, Andres. Oh, there it is. There it is, right there.
Yeah, you know
Ta-da!
what? I think that's the one. That's the one that we have fairly recently. Okay. Yeah.
See, let's play. Can
I
you
know
put
the
that back
picture.
up?
The picture looks familiar. I probably wrote the news release it was based on.
Okay, let's see.
That looks familiar.
Okay,
Yeah, that could very well
let's
be the
enlarge
same
it.
case.
Can you
yeah.
enlarge it a little more? Want to read this? Can you make it larger? All right, now the whole thing bigger. You can take us out. So it was a contractor down south, all right, in Homestead, Redland area. They saw the trash there, and they went and arrested them. Let's talk about the hidden cameras, all right? You have them through the
Sure.
county. I'm not going to ask you where they are because they're very effective. I suspect why no one is, but I'll wave to it the next time I see it. It's only a piece of gum, all right? So when they dump the trash, they probably have the vehicle for sure. Maybe they have the tag, maybe they don't, but be able to do to hunt them down. If you see somebody really dumping stuff, what's a safe thing for somebody to do?
The safe thing to do is do not confront them because you don't know how they're going to react. The best thing to do is if they're doing in the act, you can call the police because it's a crime. You know, they're basically in the middle commission of a crime. If you see it after the fact, if you go by an area and you see the pile that's been dumped there, but you don't see who did it, then you can call 311. But if you do see it in the act, you can call 911. Just don't confront the person because you don't know how they're gonna.
And
react.
some people take it when there's nobody on. They take a picture of the trash just so they say, here it is. This is the corner that it was at. And so, and then if there's the evidence, maybe they're going to go after the person. But I think of the cost that's involved when somebody illegally dumps, let's say, an F-150 stuff. They dump it on there, and it takes them 10 minutes maximum to dump it on the ground. So you have the neighbors that see it for a week or two. Then the county sends somebody out to look at it. Then the county has to send a truck and 2 guys, right,
Pick it up, yeah.
to go pick it up, and they're going to take it to probably to about the same place that the original guy was going to take it to.
Pretty much.
That's a lot of money, and
Yeah.
a huge amount of time and money spent picking this stuff off the ground.
And you know, and an eyesore for the people who live there.
And when on my way home, I'm glad when nothing's there on the street, but inevitably people hear about where to dump stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like that graffiti. Once you get graffitied, if you don't take it off right away,
Yeah.
people are back doing it.
And that's speaking of the hypothetical pile that you just talked about a minute ago.
Yep.
Somebody else will see it. That's, you know, first person dumps a mattress off of the back of their pickup truck. The next one sees, oh, somebody dumped a mattress. I know where I can get rid of my old TV set. They'll come and they'll drop their old TV set there. Then somebody else will come and they have an old washing machine and then next thing you know that it's no longer just a mattress. Now it's a pile.
So I use the service of bulky waste pickup. It's very simple. I went online, right, and it said, okay, I put in my address. This is how much you're entitled to. When will it be ready for pickup? I put the pickup in. So I started putting the trash out, and every day I put trash out. I took a picture because I wanted to see. Sure enough, one afternoon late, I see some guy with the trailer, and he's dumping trash on it. So I didn't get very close, but I took a picture of it. I was able to get the tag, and I go, look at this guy, and for sure I wasn't going over there because I'm getting too old to fool around with that stuff. A couple days later, the trash is big, so I take another picture, and I made sure there was a landmark, which is a tree. I didn't call 311 and tell them because I knew they were coming. They were coming to pick the stuff up, but they did call. And they said, Mr. Miller, we're at your house, and here's what you got going on. And I said, listen, I did call 311 to report people with trash, but here's the picture from a couple days ago,
Mhm.
and I could hear him. Yep, that was it. And sometimes you can look at the trash and you go, doesn't look like it's from the same pile. I mean, you just know you've been doing it your entire life, and you know that. So the suggestion is what to uh, if people are dumping in your thing, in your trash, what should they do?
Well, taking pictures is a good idea, but you should call 311 and report it because then it's on the record.
Yep.
With us, and we have a record that yes, the resident called and they said that they put out mostly yard waste, and now they have a washing machine that somebody dumped off, or an old refrigerator that somebody dumped off and forgot to take the door off in front of their house, and that way you don't get held liable
Yeah,
for that.
and by the way, and the guys were very friendly, easygoing. It wasn't like a big deal in the sense of that I was communicating with them. One's trying to hide from right up front. My wife was having a problem because she said, "I'm going to get my husband on the phone for you." But it is amazing how fast those piles will grow if you don't do something about it. So if
It's like fertilizer.
yes, so sometimes people don't like to put the trash on their grass, but a neighbor has a spot where they frequently do that.
If the neighbor agrees,
If their neighbor agrees, all right. How do
When-
they know when you call? Who calls?
what you call, I mean, you can actually, if your neighbor has the bulky waste pickups and they're
Yep.
willing to donate it to you, they don't
Yep.
care. I mean, they could do it. Most likely, if you're the one doing it, you should be the one calling because you're going to know the particulars. You're going to know when you're going to put it out. You're going to know where you're going to put it out or where you plan to put it out because you have to give that information in 301. And you're also going to know what's going to go in it because they're going to ask you. I don't know to what level of detail you have to give them, like every little single. Yeah, and yes, there's going to be 3 blades of grass and there's going to be 2 leaves. And yeah, I don't think you have to go to that level of detail, but they're going to want to know more or less the type of material that you're putting out there.
I'm one of those kind of guys when I go to a site that I'm good too much. My frustration level happens as soon as I go to the website before I do anything. But that site was easy to navigate. It was just so simple, right? And I just went to miami-dade.gov trash, or maybe I went to Google or wherever it was. One or two things there. I want bulky waste pickup, and you're entitled to 2 25-yard pickups a year.
Yes.
Or 150.
You can combine it. Yes.
Yeah. And this time somebody could do it right now in December, and they could do another one in January.
They could, yes.
And if you have more,
if you have any remaining for the year, you could do that.
so if you have more trash out there that can fit into whatever it's 25 or the 50-yard, what's another 25 yards going to cost?
Well, they have they used to charge you for, you had to have a minimum. They would charge you a minimum of 5 cubic yards, even if you only had one extra. But now it's just, if you only have one, they only charge you for one, but it's $25 per cubic yard additional over the limit.
Okay. Oh, I got you. So if you had,
They used to charge 125 minimum. If you only had one extra cubic yard,
Yep.
you were stuck. You had to either or take it yourself to the TRC, or pay the fee. But you no longer have the 5 cubic yard minimum. So
okay. So if you are doing some work on your house and you're taking part of fence, for instance, all right, and you go, all right, what am I going to do with this? And it's too much for your pickup truck, all right? And say, I'm going to put it out front. County takes it. They take it.
they'll take it up to a certain amount. That's considered construction and demolition.
Okay.
I think they only allow about 3 cubic yards.
Really?
I'm not 100% sure. They'll allow a certain limit. But you can call 311 and they'll tell you how much, but they'll allow a certain limit of that type
And
of
there's a
material.
service that we use. I won't say the name of it, but when I've got stuff, I say, just clean up the alley, take the stuff, pick up all the stuff that's here. We continually have junk that's here. They came out with 3-4 guys. I'm telling you, 45 minutes here, gone. Didn't have to do anything, and it's like perfect. And at the beginning, I thought that I was paying too much. Now I'm going, well, thank goodness they're coming out. That I don't have to get my guys to do that and to be able to go to the truck. So, but please don't dump your stuff out on the streets because it's going to cost a lot more. And besides, you might get caught in 2 or 3.
And you can
It's
get
a wrong
either
thing to
fine or
do.
you know, depending on the level of, you know, or the nature of what you're doing, you could get a fine or you can go to jail and get a fine and even potentially have your vehicle confiscated. Depends on
And
how
the
serious
commissioner-
it is.
Depends how
Yeah,
obnoxious
depends
you got it.
either if it's considered commercial, any amount. If it's not in commercial, like if you're not in a commercial truck, I don't know what limit they off the top of my head. There's a certain limit beyond which, they could arrest you. If it's below that, they won't. If it's commercial, though, any amount doesn't matter. So
Okay, let's talk about Christmas trees. I don't know how many Christmas trees are going to be purchase this year. I hear they're very, 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 very expensive.
Yep.
Right? Before it used to be. Last time I paid like $60 for whatever
Yeah,
size
I
tree was.
remember. Now they're about 100 easy.
Yes. So, what's somebody supposed to do with their Christmas tree in a
right.
month from now?
A month from now, your Christmas tree. All right. The ideal is to take it yourself to one of our TRCs, have it cleaned, of course, of no lights, no ornaments, no tinsel, because if you do that, it will be mulched. We'll take it and we'll make mulch out of it, a nice, very, very nice smelling mulch because it has that nice pine aroma. Not on the spot. We wait till we get all the trees that come in, and then we take them to a central location where we have the machine that does it, that mulches it, and then we make the mulch available in the spring, sometimes as early as February, sometimes as late as March, or maybe even April, but we make an announcement when it's available. And you can pick it up at, there's several TRCs where we have it available. First, supplies, while supplies last, first come, first serve. That's why while supplies last, that's where the key part comes in. That's where you, the resident, come in. If you bring your tree to the TRC, the more trees we have residents bring to the TRCs for this purpose, the more mulch we have available. If you're not going to do that, then you have a couple of options. And one of them, we're going to make an announcement sometime later this month as to the specifics of it. But one of them is typically we'll come by and you put it out on the curbside and we'll pick it up. But we haven't made the announcement yet. We're not quite ready to make the announcement.
So is that going to be random driving down the street for the county, or say go to Miami?
They kind of go through so that they don't keep going back over. If I'm not mistaken, this year the way they're going to do it is they're going to kind of do two passes, like they did with Hurricane Irma with the debris. Do a pass and then wait a week or so, and then do a second pass. If it's not out there in time for the second pass, though.
And what a great lesson for our young children. Take your Christmas tree over there. In a month or two, you'll be able to come back somewhere and be able to pick up the mulch, fill up the back of that pickup truck, get your kids to help you put it out. And from what I understand, it's got a really nice smell.
The nice pine scent, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about food, Christmas parties, New Year's parties, lots of food left over. We just take that and put it in the green dumpster, don't we?
If the food, once you can no longer eat it, once it's no longer safe to eat, yes, it can go in the green dumpster there. And I'm sure the folks who promote composting are probably cringing right now. If you want to get into that, we do certainly work with the ag with the extension center. That's the word I was looking for. The folks down in the Redland that they provide workshops on composting from time to time, and we do post the schedule on our website, and we provide the composting bin. It's a little bit limited. It's not something I think that there's a certain number of people that will provide the bin for, but you can certainly look it up on our website and see when the next ones are coming. If that interests you, if you want to do composting. Otherwise, you can throw that in the garbage. No problem. The one thing that we do ask people to be careful of, with the holidays, grease. For us, grease isn't a bigger problem, but it's a bigger problem for our sister department, water and sewer, which is my old department where I used to work at. Don't dump it down the drain. Unless you want to make your plumber rich, unless you want to pay. I have nothing against plumbers, but unless you want to pay for the plumbers, your plumber's children's next tuition payment or their vacation this year or something, don't pour it down the drain because you're gonna end up with clogs. And so what you can do is instead sacrifice one can that won't be recycled, a metal can. And just pour the hot grease into it and let it cool down. Put it in your freezer, and then when the can gets filled up, you can throw it out in the garbage. It's food grade, so it's not, you just don't want to pour it down the drain though.
Good advice. I do that with the tuna fish, right in there, not in the drain, in the other thing. So I got to tell the story. I took a picture of it. I said to my wife Susan, I said, Susan, did you happen to cook dinner tonight? She said, I left it for you on the counter. I went over. It was a jar of mayonnaise and a can of tuna. So
What? No relish or celery to go with it?
That was
Not even that. Just tuna and mayo. Jeez.
Oh my goodness. I love her dearly. What's for dinner? All right. So Frank Calderon, thank you so much. All right,
Thanks
folks.
for having me.
Want to find out more information about the solid waste department? You go to miamidade.gov, look around. You need to you pick up dial 311, or you can go to the website. Great organizations, and I love being with you, and a great job, and happy holidays to you.
Thanks. You too.
Folks, thanks for joining us again. This is Live with Miami's Community News. Andres, thank you for the show. And we're going to tune out in just 1 minute. Andres is pretty happy. He's been sitting over there for about 4 hours today. All right. Let's say, see you later.